Check, check, check. One, two, check.
Short because nothing was working. But then once we made the ship was coming from, we figured out how to get on the CSSR. Really? I thought you did that.
Check, check. One, two.
I like playing this double edged.
Do they have Wi-Fi here? Seems to be working off of without Wi-Fi.
You're working okay?
It only hit 2 bars. Seems to be working.
It'll be working all right?
Yeah.
It lasts about 30 minutes. I've got it recorded if you need it.
Oh, okay.
I recorded Cherokees,
Oh, okay.
and I recorded on the iPad or something that goes on
Okay.
if you need it.
Okay. If you're watching at home or on your phone, I kicked this on a little bit early to see if it was going to work because I don't have Wi-Fi here, and I'm just going off of the broadband here at Volunteer High School. But the event is supposed to start at 1 o'clock. The new director of schools is going to address the teachers here at Volunteer from the east end of the county. He was at Cherokee this morning and addressed the teachers on the west end of the county. So I assume it's going to be pretty much the same that he said over there. So hang with us, and it's going to get started about 1 o'clock. And if the picture cuts out, it's because I lost broadband, and I'm probably going to cut it off and just go to regular recording and then have to download it. But hopefully it'll hang with us for the whole event. Hey, how you doing? Pretty good. How are you? Yeah, real good. I went to Chicago.
Oh, I went to Philly.
Yeah, that's where I'm from too.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's why I can't talk, because I'm visiting everybody.
A lot of people to see.
Right. Did you get to eat some good food?
Oh yeah, well mostly mom cooked food.
Oh, okay. That's always good, right?
Yeah. We went to we went to eat one time, so Berghoff, which is a fancy Chicago place. So.
Well, did you have a lot of family still out there? Like all your
Yeah, my
family?
grandparents, my parents, cousins, a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were going around visiting everybody?
Yeah. Everybody gets together Christmas Eve and then just at home with mom and dad for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. How long did you drive?
Yeah, it was 11 hours.
It took me 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of family up there?
Yeah, that's where I'm from, so that's where. I love going home because it's, well, it's just like different.
Yeah.
And it's a good difference.
Yeah. Did it snow? Did you get any snow?
I didn't think so.
We had one light dusting.
Oh, really? Yeah. Were you like, hey, if I get a blizzard? Because you guys are just like Billy. Well, you probably get worse than that.
They get pounded up there sometimes.
Yeah. Wind chill. Was it cold?
No, it was perfect. It was like a spring day.
Yeah.
It was spring all week.
I drove back yesterday, so I sent back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
I was gone for a while.
that was really like spring.
Yeah.
God, what was it, like 70 this weekend or something like that?
For New Year's, it rained on New Year's Eve, but then New Year's Day was beautiful because there was a parade and stuff.
It's crazy.
I didn't know you were like
Get back into the groove.
I know. But that's big enough.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? How's the picture? Is it clear? Is it blurry? It gets blurry when there's low bandwidth. Go ahead. Photobomb.
Yeah, stick my tongue out.
Well, I hope it stays clear. You never know. The wind might change and then it'll get fuzzy or just go off. How's it going?
You seen him this morning and we were there, you know. Yeah, we were there, we did their thing, you know. And then they lunch and we
Good afternoon. And welcome back to Volunteer High School. Didn't expect to see you but once this year, but welcome back. I hope you enjoyed Snowmageddon and Christmas and Thanksgiving break as much as I did. But the purpose of our meeting here today is to introduce our new Director of Schools. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But I want to take this opportunity to thank our central office staff, because I know since June, you guys have been working hard and covering each other, and I really appreciate it and the support that you gave us during this time. And without further ado, I'll introduce Miss Debbie Shedden of the Hawkins County Board of Education.
back, and I hope everybody had a great Christmas break. Mr. Larkins was supposed to be here today, however, he is not feeling so well, so I'm going to try to fill in the best I can. One of the most important things we can do as a Board of Education is employ a director of schools. And last year we were tasked with that job, and we've had several outstanding candidates. However, I think we came to a culmination and a united vote on one that we felt would be the very best fit for Hawkins County Schools. And so I'm very proud of the choice that we made. One of the things that helped us get to that point was each candidate was asked to write an essay answering certain questions. And I'm going to read an excerpt from Mr. Hixson's essay to us early on, just a few of his comments that helped us come to that decision. Why I would be a strong director of schools. I have had the great opportunity in my career to hold a variety of positions, which have provided me experience leading to this point. I have taught 2nd through 12th grades and have served as assistant principal, a principal, and director of technology. Currently, I serve as the assistant superintendent in San Jacinto Unified, a kindergarten through 12th grade school district in Southern California, serving over 10,000 students and 1,500 staff. I recruit and train all classified, certificated, confidential, and management positions within the district. I also lead negotiations with our classified and certificated unions. This allows me the opportunity to work very closely with our business department and keep a tight control on our budget. I have worked intimately with my cabinet team, assisting in gaining support and passing 2 general obligation bonds. The first GO bond was passed in 2007, and the most recent, which gained a 74% pass rate, resulted in $49 million for facility upgrades last November. I work closely with the board, the community, the students, and the staff members to ensure that I am leading my team towards our stakeholders' desired goals. I believe all of my experiences add to my ability to lead Hawkins County Schools as director. I try to lead by example. I'm a great listener, relationship builder, and humble leader who inspires others to work towards their strengths. I hold myself and those working with me accountable for what we all need to do to improve, strengthen, and grow our schools. And finally, he wrote, I must leave the 4 guiding questions. What do we want our students to learn? How will we know that they are learning? What do we do when they do not learn? How will we respond if they already know? I must lead with clarity, consistency, and purpose, but most of all with input and buy-in. If I am leading the charge and turn to see no one behind me, I am not leading at all. That was just an excerpt from his essay that helped us come to the decision to hire Mr. Matt Hixson. And it is my very great honor and with great pride, I would like to introduce you to our new Director of Schools, Mr. Matt Hixson.
Cherokee High School staff and several others this morning that I wrote that essay while I was on camping, so when she started reading that, I kind of thought, I hope I did a good job on that. More so than the job process and what I had to do to be considered for this position, I appreciate the opportunity. And this was about an opportunity for my family and I. It's an opportunity to live in an area that we agree with the lifestyle of. We agree with how you all are very authentic. We agree with how well you've welcomed us even before even setting foot in the county. I received more superintendent appreciation cards, Christmas cards, and well wishes from you all than I did from the district in which I've resided for 17 years. And that's not anything bad or poor about my current district or current situation. It just speaks very, very highly of you all. And so I thank you. Before I begin, I wanted to thank you. Thank you on behalf of my family. Thank you on behalf of your efforts for what you're doing on a continual basis here in the county, but also for making us feel very welcome even before we have set foot in the county officially. A little bit about my background. Debbie did share that I was a second grade teacher, fifth grade teacher, middle school teacher, and high school teacher. I started out on an Indian reservation school in Southern California, answered a newspaper ad while I was managing a Rite Aid. And I had just finished school, and I did not want to go into teaching. Some of you have heard this story, but the reason I didn't want to go into teaching is I spent way too many summers putting up poster borders for my mom, who was a teacher, in her classroom over the summers. And so I had it in my mind that I was not going to go into education. I wasn't going to spend my time in a classroom and doing the same things that she did for years and years. But subconsciously, those efforts and the light that I saw in her every time a student grasped a concept that she had very tirelessly worked on with that student through different methods and different ways to get that student or those students to gain those concepts. And then she came home excitedly and said, so-and-so's got it. And I saw that light. And so when I started teaching, I experienced that firsthand. And that light, that inspiration that I see in those kids each and every day that we struggle and we differentiate and we try different modalities and we try different ways to reach those students. That's the light that keeps all of us in education, and I hope that you're seeing that each and every day. I know you've had 2 weeks off. I know that you're anxious to get back in your classrooms and finish preparing, so I'm not going to keep you long today. Those that have held down the fort, Dr. Bailey, our supervisors, everybody at the central office, it is a huge undertaking when you don't have somebody in a key role. So I want to echo what was mentioned earlier and thank them for their tireless efforts over between May and current date. So let's give them another round of applause. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, and what I plan to do in the short term and long term coming over to Hawkins. I'm a hands-on leader. I believe in relationships, number one. Without relationships, you cannot tackle critical issues. Without relationships built on trust, you can't have healthy disagreements and communication. You can't convey the importance of something without those relationships in place. So first and foremost, I want to set healthy relationships built on trust with all of you. In order to do that, I want to make sure that I'm visible. One of the first things I'm going to do is set a meeting with each and every one of the board members and their trustee areas, and I want them to be able to identify the strengths and areas of necessary improvements in the areas for which they are elected. They answer to the electorate because the electorate trusts them to make those decisions for the school district. And so it's very important that I find out from them what's going well and what we need to do to improve our county here in Hawkins. Following that, we have a strategic planning opportunity with the board, and we have an opportunity to sit down with each and every school site administrative team. I don't want to just sit down and talk, I want to walk and talk. I want to see each and every one of you in your classrooms. I want the principal and the assistants to be able to say, here's what's going well, here's where we're seeing we need to improve, and here's what we think we need to do in order to show that improvement. One of my first jobs is to make sure that resources are allocated appropriately toward those ends. And so planning, finishing this year, going into next year, that's how we're going to set the tone. And that's the information that I'm going to be gathering. Every time there's a leadership change, there's a huge anxiety typically behind that, wondering what that person's going to do. What's he going to do? What she's going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to stipulate coming in? I'm going to observe, look, listen, and ask lots of questions. That's it. And then with the board, sit down and figure out what we need to do as far as a strategic plan moving forward. And then with our leadership team, seeing what we can do to make sure that we meet those ends. On my next agenda is obviously to move out. We're selling our home. That closes in escrow, hopefully the end of January, and we're making the trek over the week of the 28th. At least that's the plan as of right now. I will be here by the end of the month, and then start officially on the 31st and going into February. Why Hawkins? Why did somebody from Southern California who's been there since 1988 and has worked in that district and in Southern California since 2001, why the interest in Hawkins? I had the privilege of spending 4 years in Knoxville recruiting every spring, recruiting teachers that were finishing up their teacher candidacy, finishing up their student teaching, finishing up at the university, and who wanted to possibly move west. And I was fortunate enough to sit next to somebody that was from northeastern Tennessee who kept talking up the area, who kept saying, hey, if you're willing to relocate, this is the place to be. So each of the 4 years I ventured a little bit further out, until I came across Hawkins County and the general area around here and fell in love with it. Started talking to my wife about it, and lo and behold, this last May there was an opening. That's what piqued my interest. I told Cherokee this morning that one of the first things I did was I visited the local Walmart. You can find out a lot about the community by going to the local Walmart. That holds true for Southern California as well. You know what I saw? I saw gentlemen holding the doors open for my wife. I saw people making eye contact. I saw people saying hi to one another walking down the aisle, moving their cart over and excusing themselves, and saying sorry when they had to walk in front of you when you were looking at something on the shelf. You all are very authentic individuals. You care about one another. And I know we're going to have disagreements. I know that the person you're sitting next to, you're going to have disagreements with from time to time. But all of those things aside, I've never experienced a more authentic community in my life, and that's one of the first things that led us to believe that this was the right area for us to move and for which to raise our kids. I hope that addresses the question, because if I were you sitting in the audience, I'd be saying, what the heck does this Southern California dude think he's doing coming over here? So that's really what it's about. It's about finding a location that I feel like I can continue to learn, continue to lead, and obviously grow with a group of folks that are heading in the same direction that I am and that my family is. And that's what it comes down to. So if it weren't for that gentleman sitting beside me at those recruitment fairs, and for talking up Tennessee, and for my wife saying, just put the app in, you won't know until you put the app in, I wouldn't be standing in front of you. And I know that I had to compete with a lot of talented folks, some from right here in this room and from in the county. And it was never my intention to go up against somebody that's very deserving of this position. It was my desire to locate to a community that has the same desires, the same goals, and the same mindset, and I did find that. So congratulations to all who competed for that and who tried for it. It's because we are committed to the same ideals that led us all to apply and try for that position. So my short-term goals are to spend time at each one of the school sites, walking with the administrative team, walking into your classrooms, seeing the great things that are being done, and asking those principals what's working and what's not, and if they have the resources to tackle what needs to be improved upon, and to continue the necessary growth. I'm a hands-on learner, a hands-on leader, and I'm going to need to lean on you to learn the community, to learn the history, and to learn the culture here in Hawkins. I'm leaving a community that I've been ingrained in for 17 years teaching and working, and one that I've been plugged into since 1988. I don't have the background here that I do in California. I don't have the background that you have. I don't have the knowledge that you have. And for me to come in and not ask for that would be foolish. I will not be coming in and storming and norming. I won't be changing things. But I will be observing and asking questions. And I do have an open door with the following caveat. Please come in. Please give me your concerns. Please give me your thoughts on things. But come in with a suggestion. Come in with some ideas on how to improve that. It does nobody any good to come in and complain and not bring up something that can rectify the situation. So I do have an open door, and our supervisors have an open door, but we ask that you come in with an idea or several ideas in order to fix the situation or improve the situation that you're discussing. It's going to take me a long time to learn your names, to learn who you are, to learn the ins and outs of the county, and that's where I need your help, like I said earlier. At this point, I turn it over to you to ask any questions of me. Typically, you don't get this opportunity. You don't get the opportunity to ask somebody new coming in all about them. So you have the opportunity now. Any questions? No questions. Yes?
You said you were in Southern California since 1988. Where were you before that?
Good question. So my dad was fought in Vietnam. He was drafted and was shot in Vietnam, and then stayed working with the government from that point forward. And so we moved and relocated 7 different cities, towns, growing up in 4 different states. Most recently Colorado before California, but we lived in a couple places in Arizona, 2 spots in New Mexico, Missouri. So we've been across the country, but never further east than Missouri. Good question. Any questions? Yes.
Share about your family?
Yes, I will. My wife would thank you for that because it was on my notes, but I skipped it. Overlooked it. That's what I should say. My wife, Valerie, 22 years, going on 23. We have 5 kids. My oldest daughter, Madison, is 17. She is a cancer survivor. She had brain cancer at the age of 3, and we spent a year and a half, 2 years, going on 3 years actually, in Los Angeles at Children's Hospital. So we have a soft spot for anybody dealing with cancer and who have gone through those types of situations. It's really tough watching a family member go through, let alone one of your kids. But she's our oldest. And Hunter, who's with me this weekend, he is 15. He's going to be driving soon. In his mind, he's already driving. He's with me this weekend to look at homes. Macy is 13, and then we have twin boys, and they're turning 11 on Sunday, and I'm going to miss their birthday, but they know why. So. My wife had surgery yesterday. Some of you have asked about that, and that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about you all being an authentic group of folks. Have many emails, cards, texts that ask how my wife is doing. She had neck surgery yesterday to replace a disc in the C5 and C7, and that went really well. She has synthetic discs now, so now we can call her a bionic woman, I guess, when she gets here. So she's doing very well, and I missed that yesterday, so I'm striking out as far as being home when I should be home. We have 1 dog, and she's planning on coming out, as far as I know. I don't know about the cat. The chickens are staying. Any other questions?
Can your son shoot?
I see your Celtics jersey. That's my favorite team. Yes, he can shoot. My kids actually are less on the athletic side and more on the visual performing arts side. So my son plays the cello in several adult orchestras, has played at the community college. My daughter, Macy, plays the violin with the same type of group, so they must take after mom on that. Any other questions?
Hey, so since your kids are into string instruments, maybe we could look at starting a string instrument. Woohoo!
Yes.
You're pulling at my strings on that one. They do a lot because a lot of the schools don't have the string instrument programs. They do a lot to the community organizations now. They do. There's a grant in Southern California that allows children to participate in stringed instruments and starts them as early as kindergarten and moves up. So they've been able to participate in that, and they've gained a ton from that as well as private instruction.
What are your hobbies?
Hobbies, good question. I've owned a Jeep. Jeep was my first vehicle in high school, and I've owned a Jeeps all the way through current time. I have an 82 Scrambler that I'm currently building and that I use when we camp. So camping, jeeping, fishing, although I told the Cherokee group this morning that I'm not a good fisherman, but I like to go into the cold water. Spending time with family.
Have you picked a community to move into yet?
We have not. Good question. So we are looking at about 13 or 14 homes, as many as we can fit in on Saturday and Sunday. And since our home is in escrow, the pressure's on. And my wife has I caught her several times talking to my son behind my back, I think giving him pointers on what to look for in the houses. So it's a daunting decision to make without her, so please keep me in your thoughts as you go through looking at things. So no community decided upon yet. We're open. We actually have homes all the way from Mooresburg all the way up to the border of Kingsport that we're looking at. Any other questions?
So you're ready to say go to orange?
I am ready, and I was told that was a mandatory thing, so. I'll just stick with the Boston Celtics. I've been a fan since Larry and Robert and Danny and the guy Dennis Johnson. I am a basketball fan. There's a home game tonight, so I'm going to see if I can make it back for that. No promises. We do have appointments with the realtor, so if I don't, it's only because of that. But you'll see me around. One of the things that I want to do is make myself visible, make it known that I'm here for you guys, for your support, to lend you support, and hope that you support our efforts as a central office staff and what we're doing to hopefully make your jobs easier and meet the demands that you are up against each and every day. If there are no more questions, and I don't see any, if there are no more questions, yes?
Do you plan on enrolling your kids in Hawkins County
That's
School?
the plan, yes. Yes, sir. My kids are ready for the move. My kids have participated in online programs ever since my daughter was ill and we had to be out. Half of us were gone out of the home. They are ready for the move. They are very excited about green. They're excited about water. They're excited about a lot of the changes that we don't see in California. Changes in the season, the outdoor life. We spend a great deal of our vacations traveling 6-7 hours out of Southern California up into Central California in order to camp in locations like this. So we're looking forward, all of us are looking forward to it. Any other questions? Good question. One set of grandparents are already coming out. They've purchased a storefront in Rogersville. They're going to set up and the other are undecided at this point. But I think a couple of weeks away from the grandkids, and that'll help with the decision. Yes. I'm never going to be prepared for that, but I'm doing my best. I'll need to talk to you about the best ways to combat that. Mosquitoes like it for some reason, so it'll be a change.
Is the manner in, the way from your district that you receive finances similar to how our county receives finances from the state and the county commission?
There are some definite differences. We don't have a county commission. Our funds come directly to us from the state, and then we submit a budget through the county office of education on how we're going to allocate those funds, and then the county approves or disapproves after our local board does the same. So it's a different setup. Nevertheless, I would say that we still have to demonstrate great deals of rationale on where we're spending and how we're spending. And in California, we have a local control and accountability plan, which specifies if you're above a certain percentage of free and reduced lunch, for example, low socioeconomic status students, if you're 51% or higher, you get a supplementary and a group of money. So there's base funding, and then if you have a higher threshold of socioeconomic status students, low socioeconomic status students, you get another pocket of funding, and that comes with strings attached, specified for use in foster youth, homeless youth, and special needs students. So we have to be very, very detailed in how we submit that plan each and every year, and that includes hiring highly qualified teachers, staff members, making sure they're adequately trained if they're going into those areas, those types of things. So there are a lot of similarities, but the money coming from the state and how we are able to access it and plan for it at the local level is slightly different. Great questions. For what it's worth, you ask more questions than Cherokee did. Any other questions?
Does California get snow days?
No, they don't. Now, I will say about 40 minutes from us, there's the Arrowhead, Big Bear, Wrightwood area, and then Idlewild is directly east of us. They do get snow days. But for the most part, that's completely foreign to us. When I moved from Colorado, that was the first question. Did you guys ever get snow days? I caused a good laugh, but no, we don't deal with that. In all seriousness, in Southern California, we get the Santa Ana winds, which start up in October. They could start up in October, and they go through typically March, and they're wind caused by the weather that originates in the east and blows and wreaks havoc every once in a while. And they can gust up to 50, 60 miles an hour. So we had damage a couple of years ago in which we did have to cancel school. And last year we had a partial shutdown because of the wind damage. So that's about as extreme as we get. Other than earthquakes, we have to always be ready for those, and we drill on those quite a bit. There's a mandatory one day a month earthquake drill or some sort of disaster drill that the schools have to sign off on. But no snow days. All right, if there's no other questions, I want to end by saying I look forward to working with each and every one of you. If I'm walking down the hallway, don't dive into your classroom and shut the door. Extend your hand, tell me who you are, what you're teaching, what you like best about your job, and what we need to work on. But have a suggestion. Do me a favor and have a suggestion in mind as to fixing any issues that we do have. I know that this district works extremely hard, and you have a lot of things to be very, very proud of. My job is to continue those things and to build upon them. My job is also to identify with my team areas that we need to improve and how we go about doing that and working with the right resources to make that happen. The last thing I want to do is say thank you. You all had an input in this decision through the board, through comments that I got during the process and after the process, and I want to say thank you for welcoming me, for welcoming my family, and for all that you're doing each and every day, especially today as you prepare for students coming here very shortly. So I hope you had a great break. I hope you are looking forward and ready for those students to return, and I wish you the best success here in the spring. Thank you very much.
Okay, it looks like we made it without losing the signal, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. You can watch this from the beginning after I sign off and share it. So if you're just joining us and want to see it from the beginning, here's your chance here in just a second.